After the fall of communism in 1991, religious practice was restored in Mongolia. Buddhism had been predominant before communism and is again the most widely practiced religion in Mongolia. But with the end of religious repression, the Catholic community grew. There are just under 1,500 Catholics in the country, and in 2003, a missionary from the Philippines was named Mongolia's first Catholic bishop. One of our reporters will witness this historic trip firsthand. Elise Allen, senior correspondent for Crux, will be traveling with the Pope to Mongolia. She joins us now. Hi, Elise.
Hi, Christine.
So, Elise, we know Pope Francis loves to visit places with small Catholic populations. As we mentioned already, there are fewer than 1,500 in Mongolia. So this trip really highlights the Pope's love of the peripheries, doesn't it?
You know, you're absolutely right. I think this is the example par excellence, of the Pope's love of the peripheries and his preference for the peripheries. We've often seen him in his decade-long pontificate, prioritizing countries with small Catholic populations, maybe smaller countries instead of bigger countries. He's bypassed routinely like large, major global capitals in favor of these smaller places. And as you mentioned, there are less than 1,500 Catholics in Mongolia. There are only a couple dozen missionaries, and it's a fairly new church in a sense. Relations between the Vatican and Mongolia have existed in some form since the 13th century, but they were pretty much eradicated under communism. And the church really, and Christianity really only came back. It sort of rebuilt itself after the Soviet rule fell in 1992. So it's sort of a new budding church. And Francis, I think, is really wanting to encourage the small population that's there, but also the faith that is sort of regaining its roots in this country.
May also be some geopolitical reasons why this papal trip is significant. Mongolia sits right between Russia and China. But how exactly will visiting this area of the world help the Vatican strengthen ties with China or engage Russia in peace talks when it comes to Ukraine?
I think it's going to happen in very subtle ways. I don't think we're going to get a very clear, strong, and firm message from Pope Francis directed at China or Russia. But of course, that's unavoidable. The fact that these two countries are Mongolia's neighbors is unavoidable. That's going to be an aspect of the trip that is certainly going to be present in whatever Pope Francis says and does. I think the fact that he is visiting in itself will help, because it shows each of these countries how serious he is about his desire to dialogue and to engage with them. He's long pursued dialogue and engagement with Chinese and Russian authorities, especially with the 2018 agreement with China on bishop appointments, and especially with the outbreak of the war in Ukraine last year. So I think the fact that he's going shows the authorities in each of these places exactly how serious he is, and I think that in itself will help. But I certainly expect that we'll have some subtleties from Pope Francis along the way that will aid in that.
All right, Elise Allen, senior correspondent for Crux. Have a safe trip, and we'll catch up with you again tomorrow.
Thanks, Christine.
Hi, I'm Christine Persichetti, anchor of Currents News. If you like what you saw, please hit the like button on this video. And if you want to see more content just like it, subscribe and click on the bell for notifications. Thanks for watching, because we are putting your faith in the news.